this week, we're going to finish the day in the 30. We have Wild Horses Kit 3005, disc brake conversion. Super excited to put this on. Kevin's going to start working on this. He's going to walk you through the steps. I have a whole bunch of cleaning because we have a very special surprise with what we're going to put on here at the end.
So the kit comes with each side. They're actually labeled left and right, so you can't screw it up. You're going to get a brand new rotor. You're going to get your backing plate. You're going to get a caliper. You're going to get a brand new spindle, seal already installed in it with the bearing in there. You're going to come with all the hardware. You're going to get your inner and outer bearings. You're going to get your seal for the back of your rotor. And if you need part 8845, if you need the new spindle nuts, you can get those from Wild Horses as well. Some of the tools we're going to need for this, we're going to need a bearing race and seal driver kit. We've got our handy dandy ratchet. We've got a manual ratchet. We've got a few sockets. We've got 1/2 inch, 9/16 and 5/8, and various extension pieces. We got an Allen wrench set, and we got some snap ring pliers when it comes to putting the hubs in. All right, so we're going to start by putting our spindle and our backing plate, caliper holder, if you will, on the knuckle. You don't need a whole lot of this. You just need a couple threads in there, a couple dollops, it'll hold it. So the spindle already comes with your seal and your bearing installed for you. So really this is just a put in place type of thing. Just want to make sure you get as close as you can to line up those holes. Backing plates go with the caliper on the rear. It'll sit like that. They're fine threads, so you don't want to force it in there. You want to make sure you've got a good start. I just take a socket in my fingers, walk it in. That way I know I've got it in there good. I'm not forcing anything. Just walking these in.
So this is the special project that we were talking about. Kevin's over there banging that out. I am actually cleaning a set of 1966 Ford Bronco hubs. Super rare. Special part about this community is we reached out to some friends saying we're building a 66, and while it's going to have a little bit of modern amenities, we really want to keep some of the special things about a 66 Bronco. Our guy Ryan, Alaska Early Broncos. Boom, Ed, I got you. Before I knew it, these were sent to us all the way from, I think it's Wasilla, Alaska. So Ryan, thank you, man. We're cleaning off 50-some years of gunk on them, but we do very much appreciate these, and they will go on Project PixyStix. So thank you.
Okay, guys. Part of the disc brake conversion for these is you got to get to the knuckle, and on the back side, there is a block right here that we've already ground off on here, but right now we're going to insert a picture of what it looked like before. You have to grind this down so that your caliper fits on here. You can notice this one is what it should like after it's done, and you just saw what it's going to look like when you start off. You've got to grind that piece off. So this is your rotor assembly. What we need to do now is we need to install part 8853, which is our inner wheel bearing. It actually drops down right here. The race is already installed. It's going to drop down like this. And then you're going to drive your seal like that. But first, dirty work. So you've actually got 4 bearings for this total set. You've got 2 inner and 2 outer. It's just a good idea. Just get dirty once, pack them all, put them in a safe spot till you need them. Get all your packing and grease work done so that you can clean up a little bit and you don't put your greasy hands all over your rotors. We're going to clean them before we put the calipers on anyway, but just bust it out one time, get dirty, stay dirty, and then you can clean up.
So we're just talking about how Bronco people just collect Bronco parts, and Bronco Man 6 and Kevin are probably some of the worst, to be honest with you. Like, for example, they have 67 doors. Well, not like 67 sets of doors, but 1967 doors. And we don't even have that year of a Bronco, but maybe one day they're rare. They didn't make as many that year, and so they might just have a Bronco eventually, 20 years from now, that could use it. Like, what the heck?
I don't think I like your attitude today.
I mean, isn't it kind of always my attitude?
I mean, it is, but you're really pronounced today. You're kind of, I feel like you're digging a little bit.
Well, you bring out the best in me.
What's going to happen someday? You know what? I'm going to hold you to this. One day we're going to get a 67 that's missing doors.
Really?
and then we're going to have them and we're going to have a complete Bronco.
I mean, maybe.
And you're going to buy me a steak.
I think I've already bought you a steak.
Maybe. Hey guys, when you talk about packing bearings, that's literally what it is. You're just packing these full of grease. You're just running your fingers through here. I'm sure most of you guys have already done that. You just keep pushing it in there until the bearing will no longer accept grease. I know it's a gross job, but you have to do it. In fact, you should repack your hub bearings probably once a year, especially if you're running in water and gross stuff. That's all it is. Clean it out, get new fresh grease just packed in there. It's literally packing your bearings.
Where is Fred when we need him to clean?
Now, we've got our bearings all packed up. We're going to take our inner wheel bearing, part 8853 from Wild Horses, and you're just going to set it down there in the race. The race is already installed for you. You set it down there. Now we're going to take our seal, and we're going to drive that bad boy on. To drive this seal home, it's very important. It's going to sound very easy, but you can easily forget. Get that seal ready, you drive the seal in, and then you realize you haven't put your wheel bearing in there. Make sure your wheel bearing is down inside first, then you put your seal. Otherwise, you're running to the parts store, call Wild Horses for another seal. Okay, you hear that difference in sound? Just verify, but that difference in sound will tell you that it's seated. And then you can just verify on the outside with your fingernail. That baby's all the way down. Seated. So we're just going to run some brake parts cleaner around the rotor. Once you put this on the inside, once you put this up and in, it's hard to get to. So just clean the shipping oils off of it. So we're preparing to install the rotor. I just opened up kit 8845. It is your spindle nut kit. You remember when we were taking everything apart, we talked about this piece right here. This is your spindle lock nut kit. So you have your inner nut, you have your lock washer, and then you have your outer nut. They sit like this on the inside of the assembly, and we'll go over that going in. It literally just slides on. And that's where it's going to live, but right there. But it doesn't just stay that. See how it's all loose? This is how we tighten this up. We're going to take our bearing 8847. It is our outer wheel bearing. Okay, so our outer wheel bearing is in, but we don't have anything retaining it now. That's what this set is for. We're getting ready to put that on right now. Nowadays, you can look on the internet, you can get all the tech specs that you need and everything like that. You may be working out a shop where you don't really have any good connection. We have our Chilton's manual right here, and copyright 1974. So back before the interweb was all designed. And I'm looking up right now the torque specs for our spindle lock nuts. And we've got our Ford Bronco book here. I'm looking, we're going to take the first one to 50 foot-pounds, and then we're going to move it around and adjust it back out 90 degrees. So we're getting ready to install our spindle lock nuts. This one with the little tab is your inner lock nut. Hopefully you can see that on the video. That has to be facing out. Ultimately, that is going to catch your lock ring. Something like that. Get it started with your hands. Then you can take your spindle socket, find your 4 tabs, and you can just twist it in. Get it here to where it gets somewhat seated, and then we're going to use our torque wrench and get it to specs. Okay, so it's tight by hand. Now our rotor cannot come off. We're not set to torque specs yet, but that's how you get it in there, and you press it up against that outer wheel bearing. So the manual tells you to rotate this a couple times, keep it rotating. Then I just do that, and then I double check my torque specs. There we go. Okay, that's 50. Okay. And it says loosen it up and re-torque to 30 to 40 foot-pounds. There's 40. Initial torque, according to the book, while you're rotating your rotor, spinning it back and forth, you're seating that bearing. That's to 50. Then you loosen it, you rotate your rotor, then you tighten it to 40. Now then it tells you to take it back 90 degrees. So we're gonna take it back 90 degrees, right there. And now we're going to install our lock washer. Now this is tricky. On your spindle, you have a notch for this lock ring to sit into. What you're gonna do, as we put this in here, you're gonna find this notch and you're gonna find it on the spindle. Once we put that in there, we may have to adjust that lock ring a little bit.
15 minutes later.
This is an exercise in patience because this thing sometimes just doesn't want to fit. Can you see in there, right here at the end, see that little post? It's actually in a hole now. I didn't adjust the nut, I just flipped the lock washer and it found the post. Now it's sitting where it needs to be. So now we have the inner nut, we have the lock washer, if you will, on the post for the inner nut. Now we're gonna put our outer nut on there. Again, get it started by hand. Then you can run your socket on it. Just gotta find the 4 posts, let them line up. Walk it in by hand. And your outer lock nut gets torqued to 50 foot-pounds. There we go, nice and smooth. Now your rotor assembly is all assembled. So we've done our spindle, we've done our backing plate, we've done our rotor, we've done our bearings and our locking nuts. Now it's time for the hubs. Just doing one final clean on the rotor assembly before we put our calipers on there. Again, just getting the shipping oils off of it. Now we're going to install our GM style caliper. So it's very important you'll have 2 of these in your kit. When you go to install this, your bleeder screw right here has to be on the top. So you make sure you have the right side on the correct side on each side of your axle. Bleeder to the top. All right, so we put our caliper on. You've got, with these kits from Wild Horses, you have bleeders on each side. You want to make sure that your brake line, the piece where your hard brake line connects to your caliper, is on the top, right here. To install your caliper, so your pads are already installed in them. You've got 1 bolt there, 1 bolt here, comes in just right through there. And then all you have to do is tighten it up with your Allen wrench and your caliper is on. And you can see the clearance down here where we talked about the part that you'll have to grind off for it to fit. You can see that this now fits. If you don't grind that piece of your knuckle off, your caliper won't fit on there. All right, so our caliper's on, our caliper is tight. This whole side took 30 minutes max, maybe a little longer because we were recording. You could expect that you're going to be in this brake and hub assembly job from, if it's already starting with disassembly, you're going to be in it 1.5 to 2 hours, and you're going to be ready to bleed your lines and get your disc brakes going.
Nice work, dude.
Yeah, man. It's easy with this kit. It's all self-explanatory. It's all perfectly fits up and you're ready to roll.
I got hubs clean.
About time.
I know, all 15 minutes it took me. Thought you were going to get a whole video without seeing my beautiful face. I've been cleaning. We told you guys we had a very special gift. Actual real 66 hubs. They've seen better days. I mean, but if I was 58, 59, I don't math well, years old, I'd probably not look this good. Most of you guys have probably done hubs before. If you're doing this at home, take pictures. When you take it apart, lay it out. These are a little different than a worn set. I'm going to throw a little bit of extra grease in here because I like to. Then we'll get to putting them on. First, your spring. Shove that guy in there. Make sure it doesn't bind up. 2 gears. This is going to bind up. Always make sure you got a little play.
Yep.
All right, locking part. So in this instance, I'm going to take these out so it's easier for Kev. And for your buddy, if you don't got one, this is the fun part to do by yourself. The snap ring in.
I think we're in. Double check that.
Move it back and forth. Not coming out. Good to go. Super unique. I'm not going to lie to you guys, off camera, we had to figure out how to use this thing. This is older than everyone here.
He called me young.
I think we'll polish it up eventually. You know, PixyStix going to be a nice Bronco for a little while. But for now, it can be dingy. So you can check if it works. We have it in the free position. Notice nothing spinning here. Right? Turn it to the line. If you have a 66 Bronco at home, tell us, is this normal? We don't know. But watch. It pops in. Now notice here, it's spinning. But hubs in, brakes in, good teamwork.
Now do the other side.
Done.
Please like, please follow, subscribe.